You can sell a $10,000 watch, ship it, confirm delivery, and still lose money weeks later. That's the reality of the chargeback. If you're buying or selling any product, especially high-end items, to people online that you don't know super well, or perhaps have not connected with outside of eBay or these other platforms like Chrono, chargebacks are not rare. They happen all the time. And it's just the price you pay when you're in the game. On today's video, I'm going to talk about how to prevent chargebacks as a seller if you are trying to sell your watch, and essentially what we do as a company to make sure that chargebacks happen less. You can never eliminate them 100%, but you can minimize them to the point where it is a non-issue. And I think it's a video that's worth a watch. So let's get into it. A chargeback is when a client calls the bank and says, hey, I didn't authorize this transaction. Perhaps they mentioned that they never received the item. Perhaps they mentioned that the item was, again, just not an authorized transaction by the purchaser. The bank, much like eBay and these other platforms, they don't call you first and say, hey, what happened here? A lot of these banks, as they should be to an extent, are very client focused. So they will grant that consumer an immediate refund in most cases. And then you have to defend your case as to why the item was received and why the item was ordered. High value items, as I mentioned, especially when they're purchased online, that increases the risk of chargebacks because you're dealing with people that you're not super familiar with. And a lot of dealers that I know, especially in New York City, will not do purchases on credit card for that very reason unless you've built up some sort of purchase history with them. We don't mind it as a company, but there are certain precautions that we take in place. First and foremost, we need a copy of your ID. This isn't to steal your identity or anything, but of course, we need a copy of your ID to prove that you are who you say you are and that you are verifying the transaction. We run everyone through a background check. We have check softwares like Verified are great for this. We will look into you as a buyer and sure that you are a real person and you are who you say you are, and everything that is on that ID that you give us matches up. Another thing that is super important that we started implementing last year or so is purchase agreements. And we'll have a purchase agreement that says, hey, you are doing this deal with us with Taylor Timepieces. Smith will be doing the deal with Taylor Timepieces, and you will sign it and we will sign it, and that way you're protected as well to know that, hey, this item is authentic and that we are standing behind this item. Something we implemented last year is that 12-month warranty on the movement. Now, you will only get that warranty period if you sign that purchase agreement. Now, if you don't sign that purchase agreement, there's not much we can do for you. But in order to incentivize our clients to sign that purchase agreement, when they're paying on credit card, and with that credit card, we do offer that 12-month warranty on the movements. What that means is that if that item is working for whatever reason mechanically, that's outside of our control and outside of your control, that's something that we take care of at no additional cost to you. Now, that doesn't mean you can drop your item or you can your item or get water damage in the item. We've seen it all. We've seen people put their watches in the fridge. We've seen people hit trees with their watches when they're snowboarding. Try to manage that warranty. It's very important that we stress that that warranty is just for to just have mechanical failures with watches, and are at the end of the day mechanical instruments, so it's possible for them to just functioning for whatever reason. Here's the thing: once a chargeback is filed, then you aren't really in control anymore as a seller. So we try everything we can do to make sure that any issue that a client is having with us is not escalated to the point where they feel a chargeback is necessary. We answer all your questions. If you need to get on a video with us, if you need to have access to my personal cell phone number to speak with me directly instead of someone from our team, something that we take care of. We make sure that anything, which was actually my attention by my friend over at Palazzo de Luxury, is what he will do is he will take those Google glasses and videotape the packing of the item when they are shipped out. That way, there's no discrepancy between, hey, this item was packed incorrectly, hey, this item was not received. If we have video evidence, that is very helpful to us and to the insurance and credit card companies. Um, put these processes in place not to deter you from buying these items, but to make sure that both parties are protected. To give our clients more options when they're making that purchase. Because, of course, if we did not feel comfortable accepting credit cards, we just wouldn't accept them. I think it's very important as a business to make sure that you have these processes clearly defined. You have a clearly defined condition report of the watch before you sell it. You have a clearly defined return policy. Or if you are selling on a platform, of course, they take care of that, the chargeback issue for you. So many people will get into watch selling as quote unquote backpack dealers. And in that case, they're not selling as a company, they're selling as an individual. And when you're selling as an individual, you open yourself up to so many risks. So you are not willing to sell to someone like myself or someone like these other dealers in your network that you should trust because they should be doing business honestly, and why we will make purchases at discounted rate. You could get top of market if you sell that item separately. However, if you don't want to deal with the hassle of getting scammed or um, bad experience with a buyer from the seller's perspective, and you're in that seller's side, then yeah, why people will come to us and say, hey, we're willing to sell you this watch at 80% of market so that we as a company who has those processes in place can take that risk for you and pay you out within 24 hours of receiving the item. And again, people think that chargebacks don't hurt the seller, and of course, I disagree. Obvious retort that I hear a lot from people that I guess are trying to defend chargebacks, which is still crazy to me, is hey, what, the seller should have insurance, the seller should have processes in place to ensure that they can get their funds back, even if I get a refund. So basically, that buyer will get a refund on the purchase, but the seller doesn't lose money. I get it. You understand it from a perspective, and basically people saying, hey, you know what, this company is a big company, they can take that hit. But a lot of people, a lot of watch dealers are not as big as they seem. A lot of people are working on credit. A lot of people, loans from banks to be able to afford their inventory. And so, that chargeback, it does hurt the small business. And it also hurts the consumer because essentially, if I allow as tailored timepieces, we allow our clients to do charge, or we allow our clients to pay with credit card. I'm sorry, not to do chargebacks, but we allow them to pay with credit card because we trust that they are a valued buyer, that they either unwritten rules, and in our case with the payment agreements, the written rules of the transaction. And we are generally trusting as a company. And if that trust is violated enough times, there have been cases in our tenure as a business that we have had to suspend credit card purchases either to one specific buyer or to all of our buyers, and that hurts all of our buyers because the ease of transaction is then halted. So that's just something to keep in mind. You are looking to purchase. If you're unhappy with your item, and again, I think that's maybe a little naive, but I think that's where many chargebacks come from is buyer is just unhappy with the item and they don't know how to resolve that issue. Please reach out to the seller, reach out to them directly, get on video with them, get on a phone call with them, and air your grievance. At the end of the day, everybody wants to do good business, and nobody really wants to, of course, experience that chargeback. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, share this message to as many buyers as you can. Chargebacks really should be the last line of defense to an irresponsible and non-responsive seller, not the first option when you're unhappy with the purchase. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you've been a victim of a chargeback as a seller, then please reach out to us because we would love to hear these stories and perhaps feature them on the channel to have that discussion with you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.